Hello. Today we're going to talk about part 2 of Joseph Stalin. Now we're going to see his rise to power. This is going to be really interesting. But before we go fully into it, I think Joseph Stalin would agree that you need to subscribe to the channel and watch more. I'm going to start trying to make more history content. And yeah, I'm ready to start. Let's go! Throughout the early 1900s, Joseph Stalin, which, fun fact when we get later on, Stalin means steel, was wildly popular in the Bolshevik party and constantly attended conferences. But none of these were in Russia, because the Bolsheviks were banned by the Russian Tsar, who was the king, basically. So they can't really do anything, and I believe at the time Lenin was also banned to Switzerland until the Germans allowed him back in once World War I was starting. The conference in Finland would introduce Stalin to Lenin, and they would agree a lot on communist ideas. They would also rob a lot of places and fund all the money in for the party. Not only that, but they were very dangerous. This group was an out-of-place, an extremist party. So behind closed doors, Stalin bid his time and gradually made his way up the party's hierarchy. What he did was just get things done. It's simple as that. That's how you become powerful. You just gotta know what you're doing and get things done. Stalin would take a lot of control over the military side of the Bolshevik party and would do a lot of heists. One famous one being in 1907. Stalin would do even worse, even to the point of kidnapping people, which would get him arrested by the authorities. But, funny enough, how he would escape was him dressing up as a woman, and damn, I guess that's how you escape Russian prison. He headed to St. Petersburg in June 1909. Now, St. Petersburg, though, was the capital of Russia. I'm pretty sure later on, once they get in power, they removed it to Moscow. In February of 1912, Lenin, who was then exiled in Switzerland, appointed him to serve as a member of the Central Committee in the Bolshevik Party. He would use the Russian media to make the Bolsheviks look much better, and would even change his name to the most popular thing we all know, Stalin. So from around the time that he joined the Bolsheviks up to around 1913, Stalin found himself sent to prison for a total of 7 times. Wow, he has a big criminal record. He was also exiled a number of times in Siberia, which is the very eastern side of Russia. The manner in which he always went in and out of prison and exiled. So now let's go into the February and October revolutions, where we kind of lay it off. Basically, in February, saw the Russian Empire fall into the hands of middle-class liberals. Protest after protests had forced Tsar Nicholas II to leave his throne. Both Stalin and Lenin saw this as an opportunity for the taking. The two men had just been elected to the executive committee of a very influential council of workers in Petrograd, St. Petersburg. Yeah, they renamed it, I'm pretty sure. The Bolsheviks organized a series of protests demanding the resignation of the provisional government, which is the liberals. Senior figures of the party such as Stalin, Lenin, and Leon Trotsky geared themselves up to seize power from the provisional government. In October 1917, a branch group of Bolsheviks led by Stalin, Leon Trotsky, and Vladimir Lenin successfully conducted a coup and forced the provisional government to resign. Together, the trio laid down the foundation of the Soviet Union, which it was in 1917. Lenin was selected as the leader of the country and the party, of course. His right-hand man, Trotsky, and Stalin. They moved the government from Petrograd to Moscow in March 1918, because remember, the Germans, this is like World War I, so they're being invaded and they're worried, you know? They moved the government from Petrograd to Moscow. The Kremlin became home to Stalin, Trotsky, and Lenin. Stalin was appointed Secretary General of the Central Committee. He also served as the chairman of the Government Council People's Commissars, or like the Soviets. In his role, he helped draft a constitution for the Soviet Federation Socialist Republic. Stalin frequently supported a security service that committed several heinous crimes and atrocities. Their acts were infamously referred to as the Red Terror. So basically, he would support groups that would force communism upon innocents, and they were scared. That's why it's called Red Terror. With Lenin's health declining, which he dies in 1924, Stalin placed himself in a favorable position to become Lenin's heir. I almost said chair. So, how he was doing it when he eventually died. He would build all kinds of, he would build a giant memorial for Lenin, and then would even do one of the first edits, first types of photoshops. And because of that, he made it look like he was closer to Lenin way more. And because of that, Stalin successfully outmuscled and outmaneuvered his opponents to take complete control of the Communist Party. His first action was to eliminate his opponents one by one. With the help of allies, Stalin expelled Trotsky out of the Soviet Union. Trotsky was the most dangerous for him, because he's the closest that could probably take him out. And even Lenin was worried about Stalin. He constantly was saying how he was worried that he's gonna destroy the party and make it the kind of dictatorship we all know today. And what happens? Later, he would betray his allies, and they would suffer worse fate than Trotsky did at the hands of Stalin. Both men were believed to have been killed by Stalin. Stalin would grow and become really, really powerful. But it kind of goes to show, never trust him. Stalin is pure evil. He's a manipulative man. The reason is that when you're a dictator, anyone can betray you. You don't go soft, you have to be tough. Stalin, now he's in power. But what's gonna be next is he's gonna see another man with a mustache fight him. I'll see you soon in part 3. We'll see the problems he has to go through in 1920, in the 1920s and 30s, especially with Great Depression, and then World War II. Thanks for watching, and yeah, like I said, Stalin says that you have to subscribe or you're going to the gulags. Goodbye.